Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am back with a new episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. And I'm super excited because I have two new guests in the lounge. And believe it or not, I have not met these two particular guests prior to the show. So I'm looking forward to getting to know them just as much as you're looking forward to getting to know them. So we're going to get started with our first guest, Miss Colette Harrell, and she was just telling me about an amazing event that she just hosted during Juneteenth. And she must be a glutton for punishment because she's already planning another event. And I don't see how she does it because whenever I do my event in February, I have to take a break for a second. But Colette said, no, I'm just pushing through. So welcome to the show. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So yeah, tell me. Oh, shoot! We already have people who jumped in and said your event was amazing.
Yes.
Come on. All right, so, well, before we jump into the event, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Colette Harrell?
I am an author. I am a developmental story editor. I am a book coach and a literary event facilitator, which is a new title for me in 2024. I've done some things in other groups, but this is my first time going out on my own doing it. And I think I read something that you said in one of your posts, which is, I think, how we ended up connecting. You talked about how difficult it was to do events and how everything comes together at the last minute. And so taking a page out of that, it definitely happened the same way for me. And so I was really happy to have your wisdom in the back of my mind saying, okay, I'm not the only one who goes through this. Yes. And so it was an exciting time. It was a happy time. It all came off wonderfully. In accordance with that, I'm also an author. So let me talk about my author hat. I have a new book coming out. It's called Chasing Different. It's the first book in a series. And I actually wanted to do a love series that was actually different. So my hero is neurodivergent. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to bring what that looks like in a situation where you have a couple facing challenges, but also falling in love at the same time. And we already have so many issues with relationships in regular courtships, should I say normal courtships, and that's a quote around that to be neurodivergent and having to bring all of those additional issues into a relationship, how do you navigate that? So this whole series, the first book, Chasing Different, is he's neurodivergent. The second book, she has a split personality, and the third book is interracial. So it is my Loving Difference series. So I'm hoping everybody tunes in for it. It's coming out by the end of the month. So follow me and let's get busy with it.
You know, I actually love that. You are writing about relationships that are not the ones that you're always going to see on the romance movies where everybody looks perfect and everybody thinks perfect and nobody's allowed to make a mistake or what have you. That you are actually normalizing, for lack of a better term, people who do not fit that normal category that are still able to fall in love and still able to have relationships.
And it's an amazing, just doing the research for it and talking to different people, because when we start talking to people who have autistic children or autistic siblings, Everyone is different.
Yes.
Everyone, there is no fingerprint for each person that's the same. We're unique. And so we're even in unique in the spectrum of what that looks like. So being able to, his name is Deacon, being able to have Deacon come out of his shell and begin to take charge and control of his own life is amazing. And then Nia, who is his love interest, who's a librarian. So kudos to all the librarians who help us get our books out to the public. That's kind of my love letter to them. And so it's set in the library in Columbus Public Library, and it kind of goes all over. I mean, we go to American Samoa, we go to Tennessee, we're on the run. So it's called Chasing Different because they're out there and the bad guys are trying to get them. So what does that look like?
Right. Now, do you have copies of your books with you so we can see the cover?
I have. Chasing Difference not out yet. Okay. So this is the cover for Chasing Difference. And my latest book, Later, was my last book. And this book is kind of a genre bender. And so it's a sci-fi, historical, inspirational love story. So it begins in slavery time, 1859, and the couple end up meeting in 2023. So it's a different type of love story, which I love. And then my other books, please come and visit me on ColetteHarrell.com and be able to read a sample and see exactly what I'm doing in all of my different hats, because I love doing different genres. I'm not married to any particular one, although they all have an inspirational theme through them.
Okay, so now I noticed that when you held up the poster that book, Chasing Different, is available for pre-sales right now. Can they order the book through your website, or do they go to Amazon, or what?
You can go to Amazon and order the book.
Nice.
And the book should be out no later than the end of this month. We are in the last stages of everything for it. And so I'm really excited about it because it is different than anything else I've ever written. So
yeah. How do you prepare yourself to write something that's different from what you're used to? Because you're also a children's author.
Well, my first children's book hasn't come out yet. So right now, all of my titles are adult. Okay. But because I write inspirational, teenagers read my books, youth read my books. There's nothing in there that they can't accept, especially with TV today. But I just kind of sit down and I let the story fall on me, and Chasing Different. I just was sitting there thinking, throwing things against the wall. And I began to think about how many people in my own family were neurodivergent, how, so many people in my friends' families have everything from attention deficit disorder to some form of autism. And I just began to look at that and began to think about why not them, and think about the quality of their lives. And I think that quite a few of us have been diagnosed as adults that we have adult ADD. We didn't even know, in our younger years that we had it. So it's really more prevalent. I'm meeting people every day who are married with children, who are leading full lives, who are not on the atypical, they're not normal per se. They're somewhere on the spectrum. And I just wanted to tell those stories and talk about how fulfilling those lives could be.
I love that. And like I said, it's good. And it's actually refreshing to see a different type of love. And I love what you named the series, Loving Different, Chasing Different. Well, the first book, the book is Chasing Different, correct?
Correct.
But is the series Loving Different, or is it all Chasing Different?
The series is Loving Different.
Okay.
That's the name of the series, yeah.
It's about. I was crazy there.
Yeah, you nailed it. I was like, did I say that, or did she just have premonition. But yes, Loving Different. It's Chasing Different. It's the first book. Finding Different is the second book, where the sister has a split personality. And then the third book is Loving Different, where we go back and meet their parents in an interracial relationship. And the father used to be a white supremacist, and he ends up marrying the mother. So it's that story and being different. So having that different type of relationship, because it's just not interracial. It's where he was literally raised in a survivalist camp. And so what does that look like when you come out of the camp and find out the world is not everything it was painted to be for you? And so how do you reorchestrate and how do you restructure your life? And what does that look like when the love of your life is African American? So that's the third book in the series, Loving Different. And
wow,
so the
these are some really heavy topics with a lot of layers. How do you come up with these ideas?
I love layers. When I talked about Later and I said, oh, it's a sci-fi, inspirational, historical love story. It's like we all live layers. And so it's really difficult for me to do boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl.
Right.
I want to know the nuances of their personalities. I want to know their mental and emotional connections. I want to know their connections with their family ties. So this also deals with siblings. It also deals with control and manipulation. And what does that look like even when it's done in love? And what does that look like for people who have always been controlled or managed?
Right.
And how do they break free from that? And in the midst of all of that, I just love thrillers. And so there's a diabolical book through all three books called The Book of Disasters, and it can foretell disasters. And so this book is kind of at the forefront of chasing different, finding different, and loving different, because these families are running, per se, from the console that actually controls the book. So we do have layers. We've got the chase scenes, we've got the love scenes, we've got the sibling and the family dynamics. And how does this all look at the end of the day?
This sounds like my kind of book. I'm sorry, I love a good love story, but I just don't. When the book turns away from like a really, really good story and all it is I love her, I love him.
Right.
But when you have these layers where the love is still there, the relationship is there, but there's an actual strong story behind it. Those are the types of stories that I like to read.
Yeah, and it's exciting. I love writing fight scenes. I love writing. I'm comical also, so I love having some comedy in there in the midst of everything else. And so I feel like it's a really good read. Later, I feel once people read Later, I get texts and I get DMs from people, and they're like, oh God, I just read this book and I'm looking for other people who read it. So if you haven't read Later, read Later. So and don't wait now, go get it, not later.
Yeah, don't wait till later to read Later.
Yeah, no, do it now. And so she said layered like lasagna. I love that. And so I do write in layers. I do want people to have a full story. I want them to not. Someone once posted on Facebook, they were in bed and the light was on above them in the dark, and they had one of my books open, and it said, the caption was, can't turn the lights off. And if I could give everybody that experience, then that's all I want to do. Yes. Right? That's all I want to do. And then I want to do it for other people too. So yeah, I love it.
Oh, well, I love it for you. And, you just reminded me, I lost my phone at the beach 4 days ago. So at the beach, girl, it fell in the water and washed away.
Oh my goodness. That's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking because I had some good content on there. And then when you were talking about your friend reading the book with the light on it and the caption, I was like, that would be some good content. I can do that later. I'm like, oops. No.
Don't have my phone.
I don't have my phone.
Oh my goodness, you have not replaced it yet?
I'm going to replace it, but the phone company was taking me through so many changes. So I just said I was gonna wait and have my insurance company replace the phone. So I'm just waiting to have that conversation with the insurance company. But I need to get a phone. I mean, this is for the birds right here.
I mean, you got to get up every day going, oh God, I don't have it.
Exactly. But that's all right though. It's gonna be all right. But
Mm-hmm.
enough about my woes. Let's talk a bit about your event that just passed, and then the lessons learned that you're going to apply to your next event that's going to take place in a couple months.
Okay, so I had on June 23rd, which was the Sunday after Juneteenth, we had the Juneteenth Bash Book Festival. And BASH stands for Black Authors Spotlight on Heritage.
Love that.
And I just want us all to win together. I don't believe in the crab in the barrel concept. I believe that we can pull each other up.
Yes.
I believe we can stand shoulder to shoulder and do things for each other. I believe we can share information, and that there are millions of readers in the world, millions and millions of readers. We can share them, because if anybody's like me, you're reading several books a week. So another author is not knocking you off your pedestal. So I wanted to have an event where the authors were able to come for free, didn't have to pay for a table, that literally they got a free lunch. Literally, I bought the first book off their table so nobody would go home without having sold a book.
Yeah.
And that was my heart's intent. Those were my simple goals when I started. But as I continued to work this, then I added a band, and then I added a DJ, and then I added a singer and a spoken word artist, and then the photo booth and a food truck. And it just began to continue to grow. And then we had the swag bags that had 7 to 8 different items in there for everyone. We gave away 10 gift cards, $25 gift cards to our attendees. And that was amazing. We gave away 2 tablets for children so that they could get children books.
And you were able to get some sponsorship to help out with a lot of this.
I started late. And so some of the sponsors, you go to banks and you go to different places, and it was like, come back next year, we can help you in 2025. But I went to the Greater Columbus Arts Council. And if there's anybody out there listening, if you have an arts council, please check them out in your local area, because many of them have grants. And our Greater Columbus Arts Council had a grant if you were going to have a festival. And so the literary festival, it came in under Arts Festival. I wrote the grant and then waited on pins and needles. I did not find out. So I had plan B, C, and D, because I didn't find out that I got the grant until May 31st.
Oh, wait, that's close.
My event was June 23rd.
Yeah.
So I had 3 weeks to get it on the radio, to do the Eventbrite boosting, to do the Facebook boosting, to get the banners made up, to get the swag bags done, to get the posters done, and on, the balloons, to get everybody in line, to pay people to get. So people I had spoke to, it was like, yes, it's a go. Let's go. We are here. Be here such and such time. Yes. And so I did not know if that day 10 people was going to show up. Because you just don't know.
And, I was actually going to mention that, because part of the problem when you do an event, and this is something I had to learn a long time ago, a lot of times event promoters put so much work into putting on the event that they almost forget to advertise the event. And then you don't know if people are showing up. And then you'll have people saying, I didn't know about it. And I'm like, well, I told you, but I didn't see a Facebook post about it. Right. I didn't see it in the newspaper. I didn't see it on TV. I didn't see anything. So I didn't know if it was happening. And that's because you got so busy doing everything else that you forgot to promote. But it sounds like you broke that code as well.
I broke that code. And I also, one of the things that I did in the application that my authors completed, is that you getting a free table, you're getting all of this gratis. Please post at least 3 times.
Yes.
You need to post. So for 45 people, 50 people, I had about 5 authors that either called off or were no shows at the last moment.
I love it.
So, you have that too. So you're trying to navigate all of that. But I received an email from Columbus Public Library, Martin Luther King branch is where we had it, which I thought was very appropriate. And she put in my email that 822 people came.
That's wonderful.
So yeah, I was like, what? And I just found this out earlier today. So I'm kind of hyped and excited because my reception people said, well, we know at least 400 people came because we had 400 of this and 400 of this and 400 of this. So they were like, well, we know we passed 400, but literally 822 people showed.
So now what are you going to maintain going into your next event? And first of all, let us know what the next event is.
So the next event is my writer's brunch on August the 24th here in Columbus, Ohio. And I have Victoria Christopher Murray. I have Cyrus Webb. I have Manswell T. Peterson. I have Sandy Hensfield, which is a non-fiction chapter leader. And then I have Stephanie Bridges, who's a guru on helping you find funding for your events and your activities. And she actually is one of the ones who put me on to, why aren't you writing grants to help you do some of this? So, and she's going to come. And so that is going to be, that writer's brunch is August the 24th at the Warner Mansion. And we have Chef Robbie. He was he won Best Brunch in Columbus, and he'll be doing the brunch, our private chef. And it's at a historical mansion. And so it's going to be fabulous. And I'm looking really forward to it. This event is not free, but if you go to Eventbrite and put my name in, Colette R. Harrell, or just Colette Harrell Events, you will see it and get your ticket. It is not going to be a large group of people because I wanted people to be able to really engage our instructors. And we all know Victoria Christopher Murray is a 2-time New York Times bestselling author. Cyrus Webb is one of the #1 Amazon influencers and media personalities. And so Manswell T. Peterson is a best-selling children's and youth.
Been around for a while too.
And he's been around for a while. He's coming in. He's going to talk. He has a book called, now that, writing your book is the first thing. You've got a whole lot more to do. That's not the title, but that's the good stuff. And so, and then we have, like I said, Sandy Hempfield for those who are writing nonfiction. And then we have Stephanie Bridges for those who need to know, where do I get the money to do all this? Where do I get the money for editing, for a website? And so she will assist in helping people know where they can go find funds.
Awesome. So now all of this information can be found on your website. Is correct?
All of it can be found on my website.
Okay. And that is www.coletteharrell.com.
That is correct. Yes, it is.
All right. It is on the screen, people. Now, if there's an author who's watching and they're saying, that sounds like something I need to be at, is it too late to sign up?
No, it is not too late to sign up. I was pushing Juneteenth so bad that I need to push this out. So it is not too late.
Swing your way.
Hey, it's not too late.
Yeah, I might have to do that. Because, I've been adding to my little, I don't know why I waited to the middle of the year to start touring, but I am touring, so I can add this to the list. This sounds like
we need to have a conversation because on top of that, for the author that's out there and give me, contact me. We're also having a retreat that weekend. So from Friday to Monday morning, a very select VIP group of people will be there all weekend with these people getting, we have the brunch, which is a 6-hour conference, but we have all weekend where the private chef will be there. We'll be staying in that 9-10 bedroom mansion and we will be getting it on in there, learning all the nitty gritty things that we need to learn, not only just about writing, but how to promote, how to get
Yes.
yourself out there, how to make money as a writer,
Yes,
because
'cause
this is
that's
a
the
business.
sticking point for a lot of authors. You know, they think the hard part is writing the book, but the hard part is not writing the book. The hard part is getting that book out there, or else you spent the last 6 months to a year writing something that nobody will ever see.
Exactly. And it's so important because when people are finished, they kind of look around and they're like, okay, what do I do now? And they
Right.
don't know reading matter. They don't know back matter. They don't know lead magnets, reader magnets. They just don't know a lot of the ways. They don't know about promo stacking. They're just some processes that we're not doing well,
Yes.
because not because we're ignorant. Well, we are ignorant, not because we're stupid, but because we're
Right.
ignorant and no one has taught us the
And,
fine nuances of marketing and getting
and
your
I'm
book.
glad you said that there's a difference when people say ignorant. I know a lot of times ignorant is used in a very negative way, but
Hmm.
ignorant just means that you don't know
That you
something. It
don't
doesn't
know,
mean
and
that you
that's
don't
right.
know anything.
And
It
that's
just
why
means
words are
something.
powerful, right? So I
Right.
wanted to change that from, no, it's not that we're stupid. It's just that we're ignorant to those steps. And and I know, because I look for people who've done things in front of you. I looked at what you've been doing. I looked at all the events you've been doing, and I read about it. And so I said, let me hear what she has to say about her pros and cons. Let me learn, because I haven't done this in this way. And so that's what I want people to be able to do.
That sounds
Again,
beautiful. Thank you for saying that, because I tell you, when you sometimes when you're in the thick of things, you start to question yourself, like, why am I doing this? Is anybody really listening? Does anybody care? So when you come on and say that you heard what I said and that you learned from it and you took from it, that means a lot. So I want to thank you publicly for saying that.
no, it means a lot. And when people like you are out here dropping wisdom, then those of us who are coming up the trail, we need to pick it up, and we need to learn from it, and we need to carry it, and then we need to turn around and then pass it on, because I truly believe we win together.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So remind us once again, when is your event?
It is August the 24th,
Mhm.
2024, here in Columbus, Ohio. Please reach out to me, have conversations with me about it. We can have you at the writer's brunch, and there's a space or two maybe left at the Warner House for the entire weekend. So reach out to me. There are ways that you can author, grow your author platform.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm going to be reaching out to you this week because your event sounds fabulous, and I would love for you to come out to my event in February.
Yes,
Yes, the Black
yes, let's
History
do
Month
that.
February weekend, which takes place February 20th through the 22nd. And we've already started doing the promotions for that. And we're looking forward to that being a really fabulous event. This is going to be our ninth year doing this event. And
Wow.
shoot, it looks like I'm about to learn some things from you, and you did your first event. Oh,
No, we're going to continue to learn from each other, because I'm excited. I would love to come in February.
okay. Well, yeah, yeah.
Let's
Let's
make some
definitely
things
talk then.
happen.
Let's definitely talk. Well, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the half hour. So I don't know how it went by that fast, though. So, but thank you for what you're doing. Everybody, make sure that you go out to go to ColetteHarrell.com, find out the information on Colette's book later, the upcoming book, which is Chasing Different. And then you said you also have a children's book coming out later, right?
But that's not going to come out till 2025. So right now, just
Okay.
focus on. I do have some clients that have children books coming out, but right now we're just looking at mine coming out in 2025, and it's another series. So yeah.
Okay, fun, fun. I mean, one day I'm gonna write a children's book. Right now, I'm gonna just stick with these big head adults that I'll be writing about.
Isn't it fun?
It is. It is. Well, God bless you and all that you do and all that you touch. I really appreciate you being on the show and sharing your knowledge. I look forward to chatting with you again. And if you ever want to come back to the Horizons Author Lounge, all you have to do is just say the word.
Oh, I thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thanks for all the people who came on to listen and all those who will listen to the replay. Please reach out to me. I am very user friendly in terms of you can talk to me or you can email me and I'll get right back with you.
All right. I love it. I love it. Well, everybody, this is Colette Harrell. Thank you once again. You have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Okay, that was once again Colette Harrell. And without any further ado, I am going to bring on my next guest, Aziza M. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Background. It's so pretty and serene looking.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. We love that blue. Love that blue.
Absolutely. You know, I love blue myself. I mean, I got a little blue in the back of me, if you can see. But now you live here, right over here in the DMV, and I believe you're just down the street from me.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
now how is it? Can you hear me?
It's a little bit of a delay, but I can hear you when you start talking.
Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure that we're okay.
Yeah, I can hear you well.
We shouldn't have any difficulty, but
no, we're fine.
I did hear a delay. But you
Okay.
can't hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. All right, great.
Okay, so let's get started. Tell us first of all, who is Aziza M? Well, there is a little bit of a delay. Aziza, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but we are having some issues. But hopefully it'll settle down.
It's okay. Well, just tell us about yourself. Do you want to restart and then come back? Let's see. Okay, it looks like Aziza's having some issues. This is what happens when you have a live show. These things happen. But it looks like she's actually still frozen. I'm looking at her right now. But that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to get her to log out. If she can hear us, she can log out and then log back in, and hopefully the computer will fix itself, because, you know, this is technology. Technology doesn't let us be great sometimes. But in the meantime, I'll just tell you a little bit about Miss Aziza. She is, not only is she an author, but she's also an entertainer. And she's actually touring with a children's theater, which is really amazing. I want to make sure she meets my daughter, because my daughter's an actress as well. But just you'll learn a little bit more about her. Oh, I'm losing my place here. All right, you can find her at colieaziza.com, and I'll put that in the chat so you can learn a little bit more about her. And I think she has fixed herself. Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right. Much better. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I know that our power went out earlier today because of the heat. So maybe it's still kind of, yeah.
Oh, no problem. No problem. You are here now. And so I was just asking you to tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, so that's great. I so apologize about that. But again, my name is Aziza. And I am many things. I'm a creative artist. I am an author. I've been an educator for over 30 plus years in Prince George's County and retired in 2022. My specialty is early childhood and special education. And I began writing children's books because I was in the classroom with my 5-year-olds and saw that there was a need for more diversity and for the children to see themselves in the books that I was reading to them.
Wow. So is that something that you recognized right away, or is that a realization that came over time?
I think that I recognized that right away because I would always because I've been teaching for so long, I would always search for books where the children, because I've always pretty much worked with, there were a variety of students from, students from different backgrounds, but most of my students were always African American. And as the years passed by, I started to get a lot of students who were Spanish speaking. So I noticed it right away. And I always tried to have, just because I know that as a child, I always wanted to see myself in stories. And
Right.
so I would try to find books. I know that the Kennedy Center used to have a multicultural book fair, and I used to go there and get books, and I would go to the library, and I would just cut and paste. If I, had magazines, I'd cut and paste pictures around the room so the children would see themselves reflected in the classroom.
Right. Well, I've said this, one of the reasons why I started the Black History Month Literary Weekend is because reading has a lot of competition now. Back in the day, we didn't have as many video games. We didn't have social media. So a lot of times, if we had to turn off the TV, all we had left to do was to read. In fact, I was that kid who didn't want to go outside because I wanted to read, or watch TV.
Yeah.
But either I didn't want to go outside. But there's so much competition when it comes to reading that reading often is boring for kids now, and we have to find a way to make these stories exciting. Which is why I kind of love what you do, because you are touring with the children's theater now, and making these stories come to life.
Yes. So actually, it's so interesting because I started out in this area really doing professional theater because I'd said I'm a creative artist. So when I say creative artist, I sing and I act, I move. I wouldn't say that I'm a dancer, but that's required, in musical theater. So you have to be able to move. So, but I started out doing professional theater with the Kennedy Center on a children's tour. And so I actually have come full circle with a person that I met on that tour who now has her own theater group. And it's a children's theater group. So during the school year, we toured with a show called Bringing Back the Sun. And it is about working together, cooperation, getting along, which nowadays, not just our children need that, adults, we all need to learn how to get along. So it's a really lovely piece that we wrote together. Lynn Streeter is the creative director. And she actually with us, she's the founder and creative director of Building Better People Productions, but we wrote it together. John Selman, Lynn Streeter, and myself wrote the piece. So we had our tour this year, but we'll be continuing next year as well.
Okay, sure. And now I have to ask, because I always tell people whenever it comes up, my daughter's an actress herself, and she also teaches preschool. So this is right up her alley. So do you guys ever take in new new actors?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. You would have Lynn Streeter, again, is the executive director and founder, but she has new plays coming up all the time. And she definitely has, auditions, because I've auditioned for her before, but I was teaching at the time and my schedule just didn't, fit with what was going on. But now my schedule is more open because I'm not teaching full time since I retired.
I'm gonna have to introduce you to, because just for her to have another educator who's an actress that she can talk to and bounce things off, it can be very valuable. It's always good when you meet
Yeah.
somebody who has the same interests as you have and the same goals as you have.
Yes.
So what else do you have going on right now?
So I have a new book that's coming out. So I have Corey's Dreams, and actually, let me show it to you. So this is Corey's Dreams, and I wrote Corey's Dreams when I was working with kindergarten students, and I was talking to them about Martin Luther King having a dream, and they didn't really understand a dream as a goal or aspiration. They took, they understood the part of it as being a dream, a literal dream. I go to sleep and have a dream, but they didn't understand the part of the other definition of dream being a goal or aspiration. And I wanted to find a way to explain that to them. So I said, well, can I make up a song? Can I make up a poem? What can I do to get them to understand this? And this is how this book came out of me. And so I wrote that years ago, and I had difficulty finding an illustrator that matched with my vision. And so it took me several years to find an illustrator that I matched with. And it's like 3 people that I met who, well, 2 of them know each other, but the other person did not know the other 2 people, but they all gave me the same illustrator's name. So I said, you know what? This is divine intervention. This is God.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and contact this illustrator. And we've been working together ever since. So we have Corey's Dreams, and now we're working on Corey's Crown. And how I came upon writing Corey's Crown was, it's about bullying, and it's also about finding your voice and being able to stand up for yourself. And so for me with Corey's Crown, I get, it's 2024, and I feel like in the Black community, we're still dealing with this whole thing about hair. And it really bothers me, that we would still have that issue, and that children would still feel a certain way about the way they look and the way and their hair. And so it's about that, but it's also about the same character, Corey, finding his voice and standing up to this young lady who says something about his hair. And so I'm really excited about getting this book out. And I like it because it's a little boy who talks about his feelings. And lots of times just from working with this age group, 4 and 5-year-olds, we encourage our little boys to talk about their feelings. I'm really excited about that.
I was just about
but going back to Corey's Dreams, I showed you Corey's Dreams. That's the cover, but I also have Corey's Dreams in Spanish as well.
Oh, wonderful.
Los de Corey. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to say I was happy that you were focusing on a boy having these struggles, because often when it comes to hair, we think about girls going through this struggle. We don't always think about boys going through the same thing. And I also like the fact that the book is in Spanish as well. So it's the same. Is it the same African American character, but the book is in Spanish? Then that's a great way to.
It's Corey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to expand that message.
Yeah. So it's Corey. I just continued with Corey. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And Corey's a little older in this one. So in this one, he's a little older. He's 8. He's actually 9, 8 or 9. It's the 3rd grade. It started off in the 2nd grade, and we switched it to 3rd grade. So he is a little older in the first one. In Corey's Dreams, he's 5. And then once we get to Corey's Crown, he's a little older.
Okay. So do you plan to keep this series going?
I do. I'd like to. I have written some other books that don't have Corey in it. I just have to get the illustrations done. I wrote a story about the alphabet, because working with children that have learning needs, I've discovered that lots of times, if they're going to have something that they have difficulty with, it's sometimes more the letters than the numbers, because numbers are literal. When you have 3, you have number 3, you have you can say I have three things. But when you have the letter A, what does that mean? And so children tend to struggle more with letters than numbers. And so I wrote a book called Alphabet Love. And so I'm going to work on that next. And then I have a song that I wrote called Natural. And my uncle is a painter and an artist, a visual artist. And he had started working on that and some things came up and he had to stop. But I wrote a song called Natural that I have recorded and, you know, I sang, you know, sing out when I perform. And I wanted to have a children's book that goes along with Natural. And that's about just loving yourself the way you are and being natural.
I love it. I love it.
So I have some things in the works.
I see. But I like the fact that you are focusing on these things because, you know, in this social media world, we start to put a lot of pressure on. We had it before social media. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to just blame social media because even before social media, we put a lot of pressure on people to look alike. If somebody came with an afro at one time, we looked at them like they were crazy. If their clothes were not the norm, we made fun of them, or yes, I got made fun of. You know, but now with social media, that pressure is even stronger to conform, to have to look a certain way, to dress a certain way, to have your hair a certain way. And if you look different, sometimes you're looked down upon. So I think that books like yours help to push that narrative that we all don't have to be right.
Yes.
So
and so all of these books are written under my publishing, my business, Mariama Publishing.
Okay, so this is your publishing company?
I'm sorry, doctor, did you hear me?
Yeah, you said you were talking about
Yes, I'm self-publishing. Yes, and it's
okay. So now, do you publish other authors? I think we're having some issues again, but we're gonna work through it, y'all. We're gonna work through it. Okay, so I think Aziza's having some issues again, or maybe it could be me.
Yeah.
If it's me, let me know.
Yeah.
You there? Okay, we are having some issues, but we're gonna work through it. All right, Aziza has frozen. I think we both have frozen. Aziza?
Yeah, so I'm going to log out of my computer and I'm going to come in on my phone.
No, you see, now I hear you really well now. And I'm not sure what happened, but you sound great.
Yeah, what I did was I came in on my phone.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to log out on my computer so it doesn't and just stay on my phone. So I'm just going to shut my computer down. and I'm just going
Okay.
to stay on my phone. Yep. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Sometimes we have issues. This is what happens when you have a live show, but we,
Yeah.
we work through it.
I'm like, what in the world is happening? But I'm back on my phone. I should have just come
Yeah.
on my phone right away, but it's, I like the computer's just bigger, so it seems better
Yeah.
for me and then better to me. But this is fine. We'll be here on the phone.
Yeah. I went ahead and restarted as well, just in case it was my issue. So I think we're both okay.
Yeah.
So I think we were talking about the books, and the last I remember, we talked about Corey's dream. Then we talked about Corey's crown, and then you also mentioned that Corey's crown is in Spanish.
No, Corey's dreams is a
Oh, Corey's dream is in Spanish. Okay,
but
and I was saying that it's, huh?
I will put Corey's crown in Spanish as well because I know that.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, and I think I was just saying that I was glad that you are focusing on, you're not only just focusing on struggles, not just from a girl's perspective, because often when it comes to hair, we know we always think it's just a girl's issue, but it can also be a boy's issue. And I also thought it was interesting that the bully was a girl.
Yeah, see, we don't talk about that, right? Yeah. Yep. She's and he just he has a crush on her. So it's really devastating for Corey because he has a crush on her and then she says something about him that's not nice. And so he has to deal with all of that.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that these are struggles as an educator you saw every day.
Yes, yes. And I saw that boys sometimes at that age, at that 4 and 5 year old age, were more sensitive than the girls. I would have boys crying more than the girls. And then somewhere along the line, they learn to kind of repress their feelings. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to write about someone, a boy having these feelings and expressing them and having to, he talks to his dad about it. But I didn't want his father to solve the problem for him because one of the things I've learned with
Mhm.
lots of times the adult comes in a children's book and solves the issue
Yeah.
or to figure out as well. So the dad offers advice, but Corey actually thinks about it and solves the problem for himself and actually confronts the young lady and talks to her about it, and then he's able to work it out with her, and then some other friends come in and they're all able to work it out.
That sounds like a really powerful story. You think you're ever going to make that into a play?
I hadn't thought about that, but that's that's why I need to give you.
Yes. I mean, that would be a really powerful theatrical performance.
Yeah, that actually would be very, very exciting. I'm really excited about this because Corey's Dreams was my first, and I love the story. It's about just giving the children examples of what dreams are as goals and things that you hope to do for now or for later. But this story has a lot more characters. They're having conversations, so this is a more developed story,
Yes.
and excited about it.
Well, I'm excited for you. I would love to see you take these stories further. Now, I think you mentioned that you have some upcoming appearances?
Yes, yes, yes. So I don't know, did you catch where I was talking about Mariama Publishing? So that's my business.
Yeah, I think that was actually the last thing that we talked about. Is you said you had published your books under Mariama Publishing, and I was asking, is this your company?
Yes, yes, it's my company. I'm starting off with my books and then we may move into publishing others, but right now I'm just focused on getting my books done.
Wonderful. Congratulations on that. So yeah, so right now you're saying that you are not publishing anybody else yet. And
Not
I think it's a good way to do that. If you're going to start your own publishing company, learn the process first and
Yeah.
then start getting people to entrust you with their books.
Yes, yes. And under Mariama Publishing, I actually have also started a learning channel on YouTube. So you can go to Mariama Learning on YouTube, and I'm giving just tips and resources and advice to parents because I really could not have had success with working with my early learners without collaborating with their parents. So I thought it was important. And I really love that part of teaching, working with the children, but all
Yes.
working in collaboration with their parents. So I decided to start a YouTube channel, and I'm also going to start doing consultative services with parents who desire and who need some support.
Oh, well, that's interesting too. So you have some big plans, ma'am.
Yeah, you got to keep it. You got to keep it moving. Have to. I really believe in all of us finding things that we do well, finding our gifts, discovering them, and working them. There's so many of us that are sitting on our gifts, and I believe that if we were all, working those things out, it may sound corny, but the world would be a better place if we were all working those gifts, and that's what God really wants us to do. That's what the Creator wants us to do. So I think when you find people that are frustrated and angry and depressed, there are people who really suffer from clinical depression. So I'm just talking about being down or frustrated,
Right.
um not really working there. Maybe they're afraid, or maybe no one told them that they could do it. But if we all did it, I think that we would, uh, just our communities better and folks getting along a lot better.
I agree. I agree. So I do like that, and I think it's a great way to catch people while they're young. When we talk about these feelings while we're young, we don't deal with them as much when we're older. Or
Yes.
we're not as afflicted from it because we've learned from it and we've learned to face it at a younger age. And sometimes we overcome it, sometimes we learn to live with it, but it doesn't affect us as much as when a person goes throughout their entire life ignoring the issue.
Yes, you're so right.
Yeah, so thank you for what you do. I really appreciate that. I wish we could talk longer, but believe it or not, we're coming to the end of the half hour.
I know. Well, we've had some technical difficulties.
We did, but we overcame them.
So you did ask me what I have coming up. I have a lot of music stuff coming up because I am a vocalist as well. That's why I said creative artist in the bio. So I work with a women's collective. We call ourselves Liberated Muse, and the founder is Khadijah Ali Coleman. She's also the creative director. We have something coming up on July 27th.
Okay.
At We'll be doing a performance. But it's a festival, so it's by DMV Made, or it's called DMV Made, and there will be a lot of folks at the National Mall performing, and we are one of the groups, and we do poetry and theater and music, and then I have something. I work with another jazz group called Deep Water Jazz that's coming up. We have a performance on August 9th in Baltimore at the Overlayer Arts Festival. And then on September 25th, which is a Wednesday, I have a solo performance. Of course, there'll be a jazz trio playing with me. Um, by the Reagan building. It's called Live. It's a concert series. So I'll be doing that from 12 to 1. So
Now,
I
wait a
do.
minute. When is that one? Wait. I know which one you're talking about. I work at the Reagan building, and there's
Okay.
always on Wednesday, no, on Fridays, there's always like a little live concert right outside my window. So I'm usually standing outside the window looking at y'all.
Be on September 25th, which I believe is a Wednesday. And
Okay,
that will
it's
be,
a Wednesday.
yeah, from 12 to 1. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I know exactly which event you're talking about. I love when the music is out there.
Then in August 20, that's Saturday. I believe it's August 24th. Liberated Muse is also an event where we are um bringing moms together, or just it does, you don't have to be a mom, just sisters just coming together, and we want to support our sisters, and specifically our moms or just working women. So we're going to provide a lot of the three women who are involved, who are curating the event, is Khadijah Ali Coleman, Angela Ballard, and myself. We're all involved in the healing arts, so we are going to provide healing techniques, and we'll also provide some things, some educational resources, um, homeschooling information, and also if anyone has uh, who is dealing with maybe some learning needs, I
Mhm.
will data services at that as well. And that's our fresh event. So look us up on Liberated Muse for that event. So there's a
Okay, I
lot
was
going on.
just going to ask because that's a lot of events and they all sound amazing. Elisa Daniels McLish, she wants to attend these events. Where can we find this information? If we go to your website, are these events listed there or on the or
Yes,
on
they
the
will. I know that the September 25th is listed, but I need to put the 27th on there, and the deep water, and definitely the refresh as well, that I just talked about with Liberated Muse. So we'll be putting those in like this week. So we'll be updating it. Or you could go to Coley Aziza on Facebook, and I list that all the time. And on Instagram, Old Soul New Day, I'm always listing what I'm doing. But on my website, I will be updating, because all these things, I have to make sure that I get on there so folks can see it.
Okay, well, definitely I'm coming out to support at least a couple of those events. I would love to see you perform. And I want to make sure that we're supporting your books. So everybody, please go to www.colieaziza.com
Yes.
and let's support this amazing author, this performer, this singer. She's doing it all, and she's right here in the DMV.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was wonderful to meet you. I know we had some issues, but if you ever want to come back so we can do a complete interview, all you have to do is just say the word. I would love to have you back here.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. And I appreciate your patience with the technical difficulties. And
Yeah,
yeah, everybody just hit me up, or go to colieaziza.com. Those things will be listed. And you could also check my Instagram out, Old Soul New Day, and Facebook, Coley Aziza, as well.
wonderful. Well, thanks again. You have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right, y'all. We've come to the end of another Horizons Author Lounge. Thank you so much for being with us. Even through the technical difficulties, we got through it. We met two amazing authors tonight. Please make sure you go out and support them. And you heard me mention that I have a tour coming up. These are my dates. I will be in New Orleans at the end of this month. And then on August 3rd, I'll be at the National Harbor right here in the DMV. August 10th, I will be in Philadelphia at the Indie Authors Book Fair. September 7th, I will be at the Harlem Book Fair. I'm so excited about that. That was one of my first appearances when I first became an author over 20 years ago. And also, I will be at the National Black Book Festival for the 7th year in a row, which will be October 17th through the 19th in Houston, Texas. If you're going to be in any of these locations, make sure you hit me up. Let's say hello. Let's take a photo. And you might have also heard I may be in Columbus, Ohio, coming up too. I might have to look into that. So much going on, and I'm trying to make as many tour dates as possible. The Black History Month Literary Weekend is coming up. We have some great things that we're going to be announcing really soon, but not yet, not yet. But if you are interested in being a featured author, make sure that you message me so I can get you that information. You do not want to miss 2025, and you definitely don't want to miss 2026 when we celebrate our 10th year, because we're going all out for it. So more information to follow on that. Also, don't forget to support our authors, the Meet the World authors. We have the Authentic Book of Poems by Shakira Henderson. And then we also have Journey to Empowerment, which was just released last week, which is an anthology of three amazing women who were members of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. My sorority. I love you, ladies. And then also, we have my book, Trust, which is out right now and has been re-released. So make sure that you grab a copy of that one as well. So that's all we're going to have for tonight, guys. Thank you once again for joining me. Thank you for supporting the show. God bless you. Keep reading. I will see you tomorrow night for Black Authors Matter TV. And then I'll see you right back here next week for another episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. So you guys have a wonderful evening. God bless you and bye-bye.